Joined by Loyola's Flyers head coach, John Sella. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. I know it's a little late.
It's all right.
You guys were able to get a 55-21 win against St. Frederick. What went well in tonight's game?
I thought we played together well. There's a couple things I talked about in the scrimmage and even the jamboree that the defense would give up a touchdown and we wouldn't respond. We kind of hang our heads. And then tonight we give up a touchdown and we return the kickoff for a touchdown. And so we responded well there. Defense gave up some big plays, but then they settled in. And so I think we responded to adversity well. We fumbled on the first play of the game, and then instead of hanging our heads and pouting and getting upset, we come back and put up 55. And so I thought we responded to the adversity well. I thought we played together. The offense supported the defense. The defense made some plays to give the offense some short fields and force some turnovers. And so I thought overall it was good team football.
You mentioned you guys fumbled early on. First week of football, everyone's excited to be there. You come out of the gate, you fumble the football. What was your message to them?
We just kind of had to settle down. I kind of had to read how they were feeling, and they're all upset and freaking out like the game's over. And so, I wanted to yell at them, but at the same time, I'm reading their body language, and it's like, no, that's not what they need right now. We just had to tell them, shake it off. And then the defense, we trust our defense a lot. I think they're going to have a really good year, and then they came out and got a stop for us and got us the ball back.
You guys lost to the same team last season to open up the season. You guys went 7-5. One of those 5 losses being this St. Frederick team. What was the difference between last year and this year?
Field conditions played a large part in that. Last year St. Fred's has a grass field, and it was a monsoon the entire day and the day before, and so it was literally a mud pit, and that made it tough. Especially, part of what we do is get our athletes in space, and you couldn't throw the football, you couldn't spread the field, and so we couldn't get our footing, to make cuts, and so that was a big difference. And then, I think that there added a little motivation. Our guys don't like to lose to anybody, and I think that's going to be the same for any team we lost to last year. Same for Minden and Northwood and North Dakota. That we kind of want revenge, and so it's good motivation.
Now, you mentioned monsoon last year. It was 99 degrees heat index come kickoff. What are you telling your guys to stay hydrated? How do they stay hydrated?
You see it at all the high schools, the football players walking around with jugs of water to stay hydrated. And a lot of them, are used to it, grew up down here, and they spend all summer with us in the heat. And so we kind of, hopefully you get them ready, hydrated enough or, in shape enough to where that's not an issue. And try to build depth where you can get some guys to rest. But you take care of most of that in the summer, and if they're cramping in the scrimmage, then you realize, well, maybe we need to be in a little bit more shape next year in the summer. So.
Well, you guys were definitely in shape tonight with a 55-21 win. Next week, you guys will face Logansport, who had a really good season last year. They lost to Manny this week, but they're a good team. What do you have to do well next week?
Yeah, they're really good. They're always really tough, and that's why I love having them on the schedule, because they're physical and they're tough and they're well coached. And so that kind of gets us ready for our district where everybody's tough. And so you start to, because a good coach and a good team like that is going to expose you, and you figure out what those weaknesses are that you have, and then you can fix that before you get into district.
When you talk about your team, there's one player on your team that people need to know the name of. Who is it?
Oh, man, that's tough. Because I'm really bad about when we start mentioning names, I want to name everybody.
That's fair.
And so, you want to name the whole offensive line because they don't always get a lot of credit. But Mason Drake really played well tonight. When you can run the football, that opens up so much. And we try to stay balanced, but being able to run the football tonight really helped us out. And then that allowed Bryce to our quarterback Bryce Restovich kind of relax, get some easy passes, got into a rhythm, but establishing the run game tonight was big. And so Mason, he had a good year last year, 1,300 yards, 20 touchdowns, and is back for his senior year, and he's bigger and better. And so we're excited to have him back.
Establishing that run works tonight. Outside of your team, which teams in your future could possibly not allow that to happen? Yeah,
that's tough. Logansport's going to be tough. And then our whole district, honestly, and I'm not saying that just as like coach talk. I genuinely mean that every coach in our district is really good, and every team in our district has a lot of athletes and good players. Northwood and North Dakota have kind of dominated the district the past few years. Minden beat us last year, and then, every single one of them is going to be a tough test.
When you think about your team, you scored 55 points tonight. Which side are you stronger on the ball? Defense, offense?
I think we're well balanced, and honestly, tonight, Ty Walsworth had 2 kickoff returns for a touchdown, and both of those were, that's right after giving up a score. So we get those points back, and so that was huge to give us the momentum back to where, they score to make it a closer game, and then all of a sudden we run a kickoff back for a touchdown and then do it again. That was big to kind of keep the momentum on our side.
It was a whole team effort tonight.
I think so, yeah. I mean, in all phases, and that's what it has to be in order to be successful in our district. You're going to have to be good in all 3 phases.
Well, I appreciate you joining with us. Don't go anywhere. We still have Player of the Week and Plays of the Week up next on tonight.